guys, you're tuning into the Off Limits podcast, the one conversation where nothing is off limits. I'm your host Joyce, and today I am joined by a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Chris. I don't know. I'm just Chris, isn't it?
You're just Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do? Are you at uni, studying?
Yeah, I'm at uni. I go Kent University. Study sociology and politics.
Cool. Smarty pants.
Nah, that's not me.
Okay, cool. Well, today,
yeah,
I just thought a good place for us to start today is just talking about general kind of millennial pressures and all that kind of stuff that we've been going through. Because I feel like...
Yeah, everyone's experienced it.
Literally, like, we're going through a lot over here. So, what's, like, the biggest thing that you feel for being, like, your 20s is, like, the most pressure that's put on you? Like, maybe at this particular point in time.
In my 20s?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I feel as if, because we live in a capitalistic society, you're defined by what you have and what you own. So essentially, like, money's like the biggest thing. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have money, you've been like you've been made to feel less. If that makes sense. So I feel as if a lot of people that go out their own way. Do you know what I mean? To obtain money, be it legitimate means or not. Yeah.
Gets like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I agree with that. But do you think it's more like, do you feel it more because you're a guy? Like, the guy...
Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, guys are expected to provide, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
See, okay.
Expect that. And say, like, you know, if you're a female, you know, get your coins, innit? But...
Yeah, but with that whole expected to provide, I don't feel like it's like that anymore.
Then again, the family dynamic is changing.
Yeah.
As it's not traditional as it used to be, like, say, in the 1950s, for example. That could be due to numerous number of factors. I can't be asked to this right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, a better question to ask is where do you feel like that pressure is coming from? Do you feel like you having to be the main provider as a guy is coming from yourself? Is it coming from like your peers? Is it like adults generation kind of, well, not adults because we're adults, but parents generation kind of thing? Is it them putting pressure on us lot?
I think so, but also society as well. As a whole, because society as like in its totality actually dictates like what we should be doing, the direction we should be heading, etc., etc. So I feel it stems from that. Also, you got things on social media, etc., etc., what you see, what you listen to, and yeah, just literally just that. I think just it doesn't derive from me, it doesn't derive from myself. I'll probably say it's from external pressures that make you feel you know you're supposed to be this kind of way.
I feel like as a girl, what kind of pressures do I say that we have?
To always look on point all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't even like man will. Oh, damn.
It's not. Do you know what? Because before I feel like it was a thing where just guys would get onto us about what we look like.
Nah, girls on girls.
Yeah, whereas now I feel like it's girls as well. Like we're looking for ways to bring it. Okay, you agreed with that real quick.
I've seen in females group chats like they be grilling
like,
girls.
Anything like you look bad one time. Because I've always said this like. You can't please anybody.
Yeah,
like if you're someone's consistently like their faces be and you always look prim and proper, so you look like you look presentable. It's a problem. It's a problem. Like for example, I've always told you at uni, it's like, well, why do you have to look nice at uni? Well, why does she have to wear makeup to uni? Because I'm not a bush rat, my dude. I don't understand. Like, personally, for me, I've never been drawn to having to come into you every single day in a headscarf and all of that, which is cool.
If it works for you.
If it works for you, my G,
then
that's
fine.
Innit?
But
that's fine. But personally, I just...
That's not your portion, innit?
That's not my portion. I'm just, like, looking proper and clean. Like, I don't need to have lashes or anything, but just look clean. But then again, there's always that side of where if you're not doing that... and you just come in looking normal, looking proper, or the one day you don't, for example, say Monday to like Wednesday, makeup. Thursday you get caught in Asda without makeup.
It's tense.
It's tense.
It's certain people, innit? Certain people it's tense.
No, but then I feel like everyone looks for reasons to get at people. Like there might not even be anything wrong with you, like with your appearance that way. Like you look perfectly calm without makeup to you, in your opinion. But it's like, oh, okay, like she looks mad different, you know. Like, have you noticed that her hairline's not actually there? Like,
this is offside.
it's always something, and I feel like that pressure to constantly have to look like you've got it together.
I feel as if like a lot of us, what we do, we tend to put our best moments up on Instagram, but we don't necessarily put our worst. And I feel as if once we do that, I feel we have this kind of like pressure to like maintain that high, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
So that, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, that's a good point. It's a good point, but then because I've heard people be like, okay, well, you shouldn't put your highlight reel then, like put the other bits of your life, but it's all well and good when you're saying that about the days. It's just like, because, I've got like a billion assignments to do for uni and I feel stressed, or like, oh my gosh, like I hate being broke. Bro, life is rubbish. Like uni life is rubbish. That's all well and good. Yeah. But when it's the real stuff that, okay, like it's going down, like proper problems. I wouldn't put that up. But the same way, how I see it is, I wouldn't go and open my mouth and go tell everybody, hi guys, I'm going through problems right now. This is what's going on at home. Currently, this is that. Like, I wouldn't do that. So that's how I look at it. Like the same way, I wouldn't go putting pictures up of myself looking really stressed and depressed and sad or black. It's the equivalent of a black screen to me. Do you remember on BBM days when everyone used to just put a black screen when you're mad?
And then no one ping or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the equivalent. Like, why do I need to put a picture of myself looking mad and then letting you know through one lengthy paragraph, this is what I've been going through, for you to be like, she's real.
Yeah.
Like, why? I appreciate the ones who do, but personally for me, I don't feel like you have to. I don't feel like it's a must. Yeah. Just because unless you're the type of person who, when you are going through something, you would go let everybody know as well, hi, I'm really going through it right now. Like, please, like, keep me in your mind, keep me in your prayers or whatever. Then cool. Like, by all means, do that as well. I feel like we have like so much pressure from different places, like in terms of parents, peers, ourselves, that sometimes you don't even we're actually young.
Yeah, very. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't really you up until like the age of 40. I say it's still young. You don't really come into your wisdom age.
You say 40?
Yeah, up until 40. That's when you really experience life.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's your wisdom age. But up until then, more so just experiencing. You're going through different trials and tribulations. But then again, those trials and tribulations shouldn't be taken personally. Do you know what I mean? It should just be like looking at another stepping stone if you must. But and up until the age of 40, you're still relatively young. You're figuring stuff out.
It's when, like, for example, I think, because my friend, she told me this thing about how she should steer away from relationships until she's like 30. And wait.
Nah, I'm not judging.
Wait, before you side eye.
No, I was so 30, she's gonna be lonely, bro.
No. But when she broke down the logic to me, I was like, you're onto something there, mate. I get it, but it relates to what you just said. Yeah. Basically, her point is, you spend like your whole life from the age of like, you kind of you wake up like you're really alive when you're like about 3 years old. Yeah. Then from like 3 years old until 18, you're in education. Yeah. Then from 18 to 21. You're still in education. 21, 20, like let's say 8 to 23 in general, if people are going on to do masters or started late. So from 3 to like 23, you're in education. So that's your whole life that you've never really lived by, like you've never really had to yourself. That's a full 20 years. Yeah. Then from there, say someone gets married at like 25. Yeah. You literally had 23 to 25 to yourself. That's 2 years. Then 25, people's lifespans are till like what, like 80? Let's say if you're pushing it like 80.
Depending on your diet.
Yeah, depending on diet. Okay, so if it was a 75.
Yeah, I say it was about 75 in the UK.
Okay, like 75. Yeah. So you literally have 25 to 75, which is like another like 50 years or whatever, consistently with somebody else for the rest of your life. Which is a good thing. Yeah. But in hindsight, you had 50 years with someone else, like 23 years that were all for education and for like your parents and stuff, and 2 years to yourself. Yeah. And that's how she broke it down to me. And that's when I did like, I actually have time to kind of, she was saying it in terms of like relationship and why she should like start later. Yeah. But I was just like, you actually have this time now to kind of get yourself sorted and find out what you want to do and like your likes, your dislikes, your interests, like this kind of works for you, this doesn't work for you, and all that kind of stuff, if that makes sense.
And literally work on yourself to become a better person.
Literally, like, I feel like we like we say, work on yourself.
No, but it is necessary though, especially when you want a particular partner. I'll say so for the reason being that a lot of us, we want a particular person, but may not be necessarily qualified for that person. For the reason it's true. No, it's true. It's like you're asking for a Ferrari, but like you're a Corsa. Like at that moment in time, but that's nothing bad. That's not bad, innit? But you can't be asking for something more
than what you have to offer.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because then when you're in a relationship with that person, it's literally just a one-way thing. They're pouring into you, but not pouring anything back into them. And it should be like, generally, it should be 50-50.
Yeah.
More times, but of course, sometimes 80-20 depending on the circumstance you're in. But yeah, so literally, once you like improve yourself to the highest quality that you can be at that moment in time, that right person will fall. Like everything will fall into place eventually. Fall into place, literally. So your friend is right, but
yeah, because I get that logic, and I feel like that logic is like correct. But also, I feel like it could be applied to anything. That's why I didn't want to just restrict it to like relationships. Because now in hindsight, I feel like every stage I'm at or I've been at, you know, when you kind of feel like, oh, you were like you look at certain decisions that you made, and whether it be like friendships or even relationships and decisions you made at that particular point in time, and you feel like that was a good decision for you. And when you look back, you're like, that was the dumbest thing I ever did. Bare of them, innit? Then like you do another thing like 2 years later, and you think, oh yeah, this is a really good decision for me. Like this is so compatible with the kind of place I'm at now. And then you look back, like say the next year, and you're like, that was so dumb. Like, and I feel like now that I'm deep in, that's where I'm at personally now, where I'm looking back at my decision. I'm like, that was so dumb. Like, why did you do that? I kind of clocked onto something that the higher I kind of get myself, and not in terms of like finances or anything, just the better I am as a person, the more you kind of attract where you're at for that time. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you want better, if you want to be making the right decisions and that kind of stuff, and you want to attract the right things towards you, kind of make yourself better. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense, because as a generation, we've kind of lost those kind of values of like real work, like, do you know what I mean? Just self-control, things like that. And for example, when we're like this age, it's like a lot of things get dismissed because we're going through puberty, or do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Low-level behaviours usually dismissed because we're going through a transition. But what better time in your life to like master your carnal desires at this age when you first come into contact with it?
When you've got the time to do it, it's one of the freedom to do it.
And you like, if you make a mistake, it's not detrimental.
It's not that.
It's not a life lesson. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel as you get older, if you make a mistake, that's a harsh, that's a harsh life lesson you got to learn. But
that's a good one. Even that whole thing, I didn't realize I'd become like that as well. That it needs to happen now, or it's like it's a failure.
Instant gratification.
Gratification. Even I was just like, when I realized, Joyce, you're really a part of this as well, because it's like you see things popping quickly, and it's so instant that you feel like, for me too, like it has to be instant. And if it hasn't happened instantly, you're a failure. It hasn't worked. Move on to the next one. And the way I'm set up is, if something hasn't worked, boop, I'm on to the next thing. Like I'll try something, like I'll do it for a year. Yep, next thing, next thing. And it's like, how can you ever plan to like master anything if you're always moving on to something next just because it hasn't worked instantly? Do you get what I mean? On the flip side, I feel like our attention span is really short too. I must have saw, you know, Osh, this side. He did. I'm not gonna sing it. I'm not gonna sing it. Yeah. My ear is different too. Yeah. So obviously he'd rinsed it out in his own way, but it wasn't him really, because he released it.
You got pushed to. Yeah. So it makes sense when you got something hot.
Then drop it.
Give samples. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then now, because he's done his at this point, he's done his official version with the label, and then he went and did like an acoustic version as well.
That was it.
And then I was reading the comments, and I was just like, no, he's milking it. He's trying to rinse it out. We're tired of him. And I did. So I'm like, and then one of the comments must have said something like, not gonna lie, our generation's like so sad, because he did really only release this not as a meme, but he released it recently. This isn't milking it. This is what you're like meant to do. But the way we're set up is like, we want to be entertained now, entertain us like now, and then we want to forget about you and leave it there. Like we never want to think about you again. But if you think of it logically, like, you know, when other people would like release tracks back in the day, That one track.
You flying around for time.
For
in the
time. For time. You're not hearing anything else. You turn on the radio, it's there. You turn on the TV, it's there.
No one was bored of it.
No one's bored. But now the fact that we're entertained so quickly all the time, like we don't give people their chance to shine, and it's so sad. I feel like that's like one of the recent things that really hit me with this whole like millennial pressures thing. Is that what my thing needs to pop now, because I'm only going to get this like 5 minutes of fame kind of thing. And then the minute someone's actually trying to master their craft and kind of like evolve and develop in it, like the way he is, like you instantly want to shut them down. And it's so sad.
Man just got one song, that's it. But
he
literally just came out, he just came out.
Like when you deep, it's like, okay, but it's been 2 weeks now because he's milking.
So what do you want
an
album?
2 weeks.
Like, what do you want an album or
it's
something?
Actually, and no, do you know what the sad thing is? Because he's actually an artist. Like he's not a meme, but we turned him into a meme. He didn't come out as a meme. And now, because he's trying to like
literally make something like trying to
make something out of what's been given to you, is that now we're not allowing people to make something out of the clout that you gave him. Like
you're trying to confine them to a box.
Why? And I feel like, even though I'm using him as an example, I feel like it goes across everything. Do you know what I mean? Like
I feel as if people just like they pigeonhole themselves and they reflect onto you, and it's like mad.
Very true. I feel like we should just let people evolve. Like the way you let yourself evolve. Like there's so many different things I could bring into this whole like idea that millennials, like we don't let people evolve, but we should let everyone evolve. You focus on your own evolution, my G. Like and suddenly you'll just find yourself not caring about everyone else. Like let people grow, let people become better, and also that way we'll know that we're putting way too much pressure on ourselves than anyone else had before.
For sure.
And you're so fake humble. Fake humble.
What do you mean fake humble? What's
fake humble? Like when you try to be humble, but you're not really being humble, because you're like, you know, in your head it's just like, oh yeah, like
nah, this is me.
I'm that guy. But
I'm not that guy. What do you mean? Oh.
Okay, thank you for tuning in, guys. I hate you. All right, no, but on a serious note, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been a pleasure having you here, Chris.
It is what it is.
Do you see what I mean? Fake humble.
What? It is what it is.
No, but come back. On another day with another topic. And if you guys want to stay tuned in to what's going on, you want to stay updated with when we're coming out with our next episode, or what topics, or even if you've got suggestions of what kind of topics you want to see us talk about, then be sure to tweet us at offlimitsuk, and also follow us there, and follow our Instagram at offlimitsuk as well. But for now, I'm your host, Joyce. I've been joined by a wonderful Chris over here. This is where we're going to end this.
I'm a clown.
I could tell. But thank you so much, guys. See you next week.